Well, I appreciate you joining me today to share all the wonderful things that are happening in our city. And, you know, over the past year, many people worked very hard to make this great city even greater. Our city council, I appreciate all the many hours that they put in responding to our citizens, promoting various initiatives that they're passionate about, and voting on very difficult issues that face our city from time to time. I really am just thankful for the Chamber of Commerce, just the involvement that you have in supporting our businesses out here. April, thank you so much for your leadership. I always enjoy seeing our ambassadors there at the various ribbon cuttings that we have. They just do a great job. Terry, I appreciate your leadership over the past year, and I believe you've turned it over to, or will shortly turn it over to, a very competent individual in Paul Dangle. Paul, thank you, and I really appreciate the tremendous involvement that you have in the Chamber as well, and I look forward to working with you this next year. And while we're on it, Paul, thank you for hosting this premier event here at the Winfrey Hotel. This hotel has been a landmark for Hoover when we want to showcase our city, and y'all do a great job in helping us do that. And while we're at it, what about this tremendous staff here at the Winfrey? Thank you so much. Let's give them a round. You know, there's another group of individuals who every day they walk through the different doors of the city of Hoover, just the sole purpose of improving the quality of life of our citizens and our businesses, the professional community, and our visitors. And that's the 737 men and women that are proud to be part of the City of Hoover employee force. So if you're here today, would you please stand up to be recognized? And then you've got, what I think the most important group of all, and those are our citizens, all 88,216 of them. It's our board members, our PTO moms and dads, our Little League youth coaches, our senior center volunteers, our friends of the library. The list goes on and on. But people like Roberta Warren. Roberta's here with us today. Roberta, if you could stand, I'd just love for everyone to see you. Roberta, who is a young girl in World War II, made comfort dolls to give to the Russian soldiers who were engaged in these horrific battles on the front lines. Today, Roberta makes those same comfort dolls for our police department and fire department to give to children involved in accidents or other emergencies to help ease their fears. Roberta lives in one of our senior living communities, and she continues to give back to her community. Thank you so much, Roberta. And then there's another gentleman, Terry Beckham. Terry, stand for us if you would. Terry's family moved to Hoover in 1960, and what he described, it was just a suburb. And Terry got involved in scouting and became an Eagle Scout in 1971. Then after college, he chose to move back to Hoover, specifically to Bluff Park, and in the mid-'80s, he got involved again with Troop 93 at the Oakmont Presbyterian Church, along with his son Seth, who also became an Eagle Scout. So after his son aged out of scouting, Terry continued to work with the troop, and he was the assistant scoutmaster, and in 2009 he became the head scoutmaster and continues to serve in that role today. Terry served because the foundations and morals that scouting represent is so important, and he felt obligated to continue to give back to his community. Troop 93 has produced 178 Eagle Scouts since its inception. I think one of them sitting right here, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? Terry, we're so grateful for leaders like you that care enough about your community and mentoring these young people to become incredible adults. Thank you very much. And then Damian Gilbert. Damian, stand for us if you would. Damian, who, after the incident in 2018 that put our city in the national spotlight, stepped forward to lead a group called Hoover Ahead. Hoover Ahead is a group comprised of Hoover residents and stakeholders committed to celebrating diversity and promoting racial equity and inclusion within our city. They were bold enough to talk about race relations in our city, and even though Damien believed our community embraced its diversity, he recognized the importance of gathering us together to talk about those issues that can be very difficult to discuss. The ambassadors agreed that the narrative surrounding diversity in Hoover needed to be told in an intentional, highly examined, and transparent manner. As a stakeholder in this community, Damien wanted to own and help shape the legacy surrounding diversity in Hoover. Thank you so much, Damien. We appreciate you. You know, in Hoover, our strength comes from living and working and worshiping and going to school together and socializing together. And we're doing all of those things, and I really believe that we are a model for our state and for our country. And the fourth person I'd like to recognize is Dr. Kathy Murphy. Kathy, stand up for us. I think Kathy's here. Yes. Dr. Murphy leads one of the largest school systems in the state. And if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Families choose Hoover because of our school system, and who in this past year they received that coveted A from the Alabama State Department of Education, ranking us as one of the top school systems in the state. Also, Niche.com ranked our school system as one of the top 4 school systems in the state of Alabama. This past year, we opened the River Chase Career Connection Center, and this state-of-the-art career training center for high school students is drawing the attention of workforce development professionals and educators from all over the state. Hoover's preparing all of our students and giving all of our students the skills needed to be successful. That is the Hoover school system, and that is leadership. Thank you so much. And then I'd like to introduce, if you don't know her, Deanna Bauman. Deanna serves, please stand, Deanna, if you would. Deanna serves on our school board, and when she interviewed, she told of the passion that she had for our children and how she wanted to start a mentoring program. Deanna put her money where her mouth is, and this past year she started Hoover Rise. Hoover Rise is a Hoover School community outreach program. RISE stands for Redefining Involvement to Strengthen Education. The mission is to leverage the expertise and compassion of the Hoover community members towards ensuring that Hoover City School students maximize academic achievement, personal development, and their sense of belonging. The mentoring program just launched this school year, and it's being piloted in 4 schools. They need more community members willing to give some of their time, just 30 minutes per week during the school day. Head to the Hoover City School website for more information. Thank you so much, Deanna. This year, 2019, was extremely busy, and we saw many businesses coming to fruition, coming to Hoover, while many were just beginning. Our capital investment and job creation are all indicators of a growing and a diverse economy that we enjoy and we must continue to develop. Although there are nationwide challenges in the retail sector, we are holding our own, and top national companies are finding their way to Hoover, Alabama. Local small businesses are making investments in our city along with national firms, and it's particularly gratifying to see all of the family-owned businesses opening all over the city. The medical and dental communities continue to prosper and expand in Hoover, where young physicians and dentists are opening new practices or expanding existing practices. We're excited to see UAB expand their footprint with the recent opening of their clinic on Stadium Trace. We continue to invest in our digital infrastructure, transforming Hoover into a smart city, utilizing the latest in technological innovations to provide our residents, our businesses, and our visitors with a heightened quality of life and experience. For example, our City Council recently adopted one of the first ordinances in the state that provided a process and guidance for the installation of small cell sites across the community. Small cell sites are necessary components of the infrastructure needed to provide 5G wireless internet service. Having this infrastructure in place will lead to numerous possibilities and opportunities for new businesses and services with the provisions of the Internet of Things, which means the ability to network goods and services with one another through the Internet. Think about autonomous vehicles. That's where we're going. We're seeing miles and miles of fiber placed throughout our city, allowing us to utilize adaptive signaling, upgrading our traffic lights and monitoring traffic problems, placing traffic cameras and other innovative traffic devices in strategic locations. Because of these investments, STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics industries are alive and well and growing in Hoover, Alabama. BioHorizons began their River Chase expansion in 2019 and added some 20,000 square feet to its footprint, and is creating 60 new jobs in the life science sectors. McLeod Software, which consolidated its offices in Hoover in 2018 and has already reached its 500 employee mark, and their capital investment will exceed $12.5 million. McLeod Software is the largest software development company in the Birmingham-Hoover metropolitan area. In fact, 4 of the 5 largest software development companies reside right here in our city. So we'll continue to diversify our Hoover's economy with mixed-use commercial assets, recruiting high-tech businesses including healthcare, information technology, and banking, and we want Hoover to be a leader in building its entrepreneurial economic system. City officials are working with private investors to establish an incubator and accelerator program right here on the campus of the River Chase Galleria. With important programs for startups, this new asset will grow the next generation of corporate operations in Hoover, focusing on artificial intelligence, logistics, and operation. The incubator will bring a new dimension to the redevelopment of the Galleria campus. The name of the new incubator will be HALO, which stands for Hoover Artificial Intelligence, Logistics, and Operations. Over 1,000 jobs have been created by the new or expanding businesses or companies relocating in Hoover. Additionally, Regions Bank announced the addition of 700 jobs moving to their River Chase campus. This past year, we issued 1,684 new business licenses, representing a variety of industries including retailers, professional firms, insurance companies, and restaurants. In 2019, 23 new commercial buildings were built and over 450 new homes constructed. The valuation of the construction work in Hoover this year alone was an astonishing $602 million. I'm excited about our future. The quality of life. We saw the first full year of use for the Hoover Met Complex and the Finley Center. The impact that it's having on the community and the national and the metropolitan area is really remarkable. National organizations are lining up to host their events that continue to shine the spotlight here on Hoover, Alabama. The SEC baseball coaches, they rave about the tournament, and they call it the Road to Omaha. I had the pleasure of congratulating Vanderbilt's coach, Tim Corbin, on their SEC championship this past May. Coach Corbin went on to say, the 2 greatest venues in college baseball are the SEC tournament and the College World Series in Omaha. I think he should know because when he left Hoover, he went on to Omaha to claim the national championship. And for the 2nd year in a row, we've hosted East Coast Pro, and that's bringing the nation's top high school baseball athletes to Hoover to exhibit their skills in front of Major League scouts and managers. We recently announced that the USA Indoor Pickleball National Championship will be held at the Finley Center, bringing participants and spectators from all over the United States in June of 2020. The Finley Center is maxed out, and it's hosting conventions and trade shows, athletic events, and entertainment venues. Yet after even accommodating so many outside events, we are still serving the needs of our children, participating in soccer, football, basketball, tennis, and volleyball. This past year, over 155,000 people came through the Met Complex. The most remarkable statistic, though, comes from our all-inclusive playground and splash pad. This is an impressive number. In the first 109 days, 90,000 children and adults use this facility. This playground is changing lives and allowing people, regardless of their physical ability, the opportunity to play like everyone else. You know, because of the impact that it's had on the city, our city received 2 very prestigious awards. One was the Play Has No Limit Inclusions Champion, which was presented to us by the National Park and Recreation Association. And we also were named the Facility of the Year Award for populations above 15,000 in 2019. And that was presented by the Alabama Recreation and Park Association. We're excited about Aldridge Gardens, and they now are operating under the City of Hoover. In 2019, it was the busiest year ever with over 92,000 people visiting. We've continued to improve efficiency and transparency in our city operations. We now manage critical projects through a newly adopted project management team. With millions of dollars under our control, we needed an organized approach to manage these projects. We are also implementing performance-based management and budgeting process citywide. For the third straight year, we've adopted an on-time, structurally balanced budget to start the fiscal year. And this is good news. Over the last 3 budgets, we've placed in our reserve funds, our savings account, over $1 million. So that this administration can be completely transparent, we've established the Hoover Open Checkbook. You can now, for the first time ever, go to the city's website and see how your money is being spent and the projects that we are working on. When I asked you to elect me as your mayor, I promised that we would establish a plan to guide the city's future growth and development. And I'm excited to report that in 2019, our Planning and Zoning Board adopted the first Hoover Comprehensive Plan. We now have a citywide plan that lays out a vision for Hoover's future land use, transportation, natural resources, our services, quality of life, and economy. Including in those plans are 2 key transportation plans. We updated our bicycle pedestrian master plan and updated the long-range roadway master plan. We've made significant improvements in roadways around the city on Stadium Trace, Learning Lane, the intersections around South Shadescrest Road and Eden Ridge. We completed the design of the project to add additional northbound lanes at South Shadescrest Road from Willow Lake to Highway 150. And most importantly, we are in the process of purchasing additional land for the new interchange along South Shadescrest Road, which will bring significant traffic relief to all of western Hoover and really the western side of Jefferson County. We're very proud of our historic neighborhoods, and we've worked closely with various homeowners associations to ensure the quality and charm of our neighborhoods are maintained. We diligently enforce our property maintenance code, and I'm particularly proud that our council passed an abandoned vehicle ordinance. As we continue to focus on walkability, key projects have been started and are near completion, including the Cahaba River Chase Greenway, which includes a half-mile trail with parking, and it's also a trailhead for the future planned Cahaba Greenway. We're working to add an additional 1.4 miles of sidewalk along Patton Chapel Road. And we've also awarded a contract to provide an additional 1.5 miles of sidewalks on various streets throughout Bluff Park. Additionally, projects to add sidewalk extensions to Municipal Drive, around Municipal Lane, and the library will be out to bid and should be under construction in early 2020. Since the adoption of the comp plan, we've begun to examine and update our regulatory tools, namely the subdivision regulations and zoning ordinance, to make them more accessible and easier to comprehend and in line with the visions and goals set out in the plan. As we continue to focus on customer service, we're in the final stages of testing our digital plan review software. The digital review process will cut the amount of time it takes to process an application for construction, and it also cuts the cost to business owners in Hoover. We continue to pursue accreditation for our departments, understanding that this is the mechanism that both internally and externally it measures and evaluates organizations. Think about this. Our schools and our hospitals' credibility to deliver first-class service is measured through accreditation. Why would we want less for our police department, our fire department, our library, our park and recreation? The City of Hoover built its foundation on public safety. Our police department is nationally recognized, well-trained, and well-equipped. I'm so proud of our police department and Chief Durzis for all of their hard work. Consider these statistics. Hoover Police Department finished 2019 with a 21% decrease in robberies compared to 2018. With that said, 2018 had been the lowest in the past 18 years. 2019 was the 5th straight year in the reduction of robberies. Statistically, we had a 47% decrease in burglaries and a 19% decrease in breaking and entering. Thank you, Chief, so much for your hard work and what our police department's doing. We really appreciate it. We also now have at least one Hoover police officer in every school during school hours. We have a state-of-the-art training is so important, and in 2019 we broke ground on our new $4 million police training facility, and we look forward to that opening in the summer of 2020. Our fire department, Chief Bentley, thank you. They offer exceptional fire and emergency medical services. In 2019, we added 8 new firefighter positions that allowed us to place an additional trucking service at Station 6 for better emergency response on the western side of town. This past December, we broke ground for Fire Station 11 on Stadium Trace. We talk about regional cooperation. Past administrations from all over the metro area have been criticized for lack of regional cooperation. This past year, I worked with a group of mayors on the Good Neighbors Pledge. 22 mayors from around the Birmingham-Hoover metro area signed an agreement not to lure businesses from each other. Our commissioners from Jefferson County were involved as well. I sure appreciate that, Commissioner Ames and Commissioner Stevens. We agreed not to provide incentives for businesses wanting to move from one city to another. We did this to promote economic development in the entire region. Additionally, Pelham Mayor Gary Waters, he approached us this past year about sharing cost of vehicle and equipment maintenance between our two cities. Today, our fleet department takes care of over 1,500 different pieces of equipment, from lawnmowers to dump trucks to fire trucks to police vehicles belonging to both Pelham and the City of Hoover. We believe we can all work together and find common areas that will save everyone money, to be more efficient, and it really helps the entire metro area. We'll continue to work together to promote our individual cities and promote the entire Birmingham-Hoover metropolitan area. In addition to actively participating in the Jefferson and Shelby County Mayors Association, I also meet quarterly with the mayors of Mountain Brook, Homewood, and Vestavia to discuss common issues that we all face. We've been very active trying to be part of a solution to the opioid epidemic facing all of our cities. The first serious discussions about the non-poaching agreement, it really came out of that over-the-mountain mayors meeting. Hoover's at the very center of the statewide effort to combat the negative impact that state online sales tax process is having on larger cities. The expertise of our Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Melinda Lopez, on that subject has gained us a place at the table to correct that very unfair distribution. For several years, the Big Five mayors from Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery, and Huntsville and Tuscaloosa, they met quarterly to discuss issues facing their cities. Because of Hoover's excellent work and leadership on several issues, the Big Five saw the importance of bringing us together in their effort and joined us as the 6th largest city to join in their efforts. We've now expanded the group to the 10 largest city mayors, and I'm proud that we will be hosting all of those mayors here at the Winfrey for 2 days this month. We'll meet with the governor's staff and our state legislators to discuss our priorities for the upcoming legislative session. We've made great strides in the past 3 years telling Hoover's story, and now we're leaders in the state with significant input and opportunities to steer the direction of the critical legislation that affects all of us. Today, we are part of the leadership team guiding the Birmingham Business Alliance, where the metro area's largest and most influential businessmen and women make decisions and steer the growth of the entire metro area. We are working every day with organizations that have an impact on our city and the entire Birmingham Hoover metropolitan area, and we now have a voice at the table. That isn't something that you can sit around and wait for. You have to be willing to get involved, and we in Hoover, we are willing to get involved. I hope that you have enjoyed hearing about all of the progress in Hoover and the impact that we're having throughout the metro area. The people I get to work for every day, the citizens, the business people that work, the business owners, and our city employees are incredible, and you are what makes this city so great. Thank you for the opportunity to serve.